Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing XV times O minus 3. Now, if you don't recognize what all of these are, to be fair, I'm not exactly sure I actually understand what NurglesGift is intending with these title names. But I think I'm going to say it's the third XV puzzle that has these new XV lines. Well, the O lines, the dash O dash. Not entirely sure what's going on. Anyway, it's the third from this series. It's a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. I must have missed one that wasn't a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle, so maybe at some point I will go back and feature that as well. Now, the previous one that I featured was actually just last weekend, and for some reason I had issues with the audio. So I'm really hoping that today's puzzle is not going to have any problems, so you guys can actually get to enjoy it. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with XV times dash O dash times 3 by NurglesGift. Just double check. Yeah, all seems to be recording fine. Right, so rules-wise, we've got the following set of rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, of course, and every 3x3 box, if I can highlight one. Then we have the negative XV constraint. So cells connected by an X must sum up to 10, cells connected by a V must sum up to 5, and all X's and V's are given. So if this cell is a 2, for example, these two cells that must sum up to 10 would mean that this is 8. These two cells that must sum up to 5 would mean that this is 3. Negative constraint means I can't place a 2 in here, because that would create a V, well, without a V, and I can't place a 7 in here, because that would create an X without an X. So that's how the negative constraints would apply. Digits in a cage cannot be orthogonally adjacent with a consecutive digit. So this cell, for example, couldn't be a 1 because that would be consecutive with a 2. That couldn't be a 4. That would be consecutive with a 3. I mean, admittedly, these two cells couldn't have been 1, 4 because there is no V in there either. Then we have the connected X lines. So 2 lines of the same length and the same color are connected X lines. Counting from the bulb, the first cell of each connected X line sums up to 10, and the second cell of each line sums up to 10, etc. 5 can never be on the line. So what is all of that saying? This cell is a 2, which is on the orange line on the bulb end. It's saying that these two cells have to sum up to 10. So that would be an 8. If this was a 3, for example, well, it's saying that this cell now, the second one away from the bulb, has to be a 7, so that these two cells add up to 10. I couldn't do something such as double 5, although they do sum up to 10, 5s are not allowed on any of these lines. So that's all the rules we have for today. So as always, if you want to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And of course, I'm going to immediately start with this side since there's a V. So that's going to be blue. This is going to be a high digit. Can't have two cells that add up to 10 without this being 1, 2, 3, 4, and a partner that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Means that the rest of column 4 is made up of greens and reds because I've already placed 2 blues. And in fact, this cell and this cell are counterparties. And in fact, this cell and this cell are counterparties as well. So in fact, all of these are also green, red. This is going to get confusing very quickly. So is this cell? This obviously is not blue-red because we've got, sorry, it's not green-red because we've got all 4 of the reds and greens that match one another in here in column 6. So this is blue-red. It's actually almost certainly, oh, never mind, I was going to say it's definitely blue. But anyway, blue is not there. There'll be a blue down here. Kind of starting to wonder a little bit if my normal approach to these puzzles is going to be, I don't want to say complex enough, sophisticated enough to actually, because we can't actually tell which one is the green cell and which one is the red cell at the moment. So there's a high chance I'm going to end up creating more colors, which is not my favorite. Yeah, we're going to have to. Right, how am I going to handle this? So clearly one of these two cells is adding up to 10 and another is adding up to 10. I don't know which one is low and which one is high. I'm just going to make an assumption. This is B, partner with H to get to 10, and this is C, partner with G to get to 10. This will be another CG. Obviously, these two cells are essentially these two cells, and these two cells are the same. Is that helping me at all? Not yet. Kind of need more. So these three cells, just to complete column 4, is E, F, or I. This cell, well, clearly it's different from here, it's different from all of these, and it can't be in the same column. So this is BH. And this is the remaining cell, which is a blue digit. It's A or D, and it's blue. And this one can't be the other blue, otherwise we'll be in trouble. So this is the other A or D, this is the other F or I. There is a definite E in here now. That is not an E, this is F or I. This AD, it's none of these. It's got to be this cell. So this is another AD. This is again EFI with a definite E. Do I know anything about these? Do I know if they are the same? As in, these two add up to 10 or not? I'm not sure I do. So this FI is not this slot, so it has to be this cell. And this AD, it's not this cell, it has to be this one. So yes, they do add up to 10. So the remaining AD and FI, which is, again, not these two, also add up to 10. So they have to be separated by this digit. That's our first finally. So this would definitely be a 5. It's just going to continue with this setup. And unfortunately, I don't know which is low and which is high. I'm just going to call them blue-reds. Then we have CG, B, and H, and then another FI. Essentially, which FI? This FI. Yes. Huh? No. Yeah, that's correct. This FI will be... I'm so confused. This FI is in here. No, this FI... Hang on, I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself. This FI is neither of these. It has to be this one. I think that much is obvious. And this AD has to be that one. So it's one of these ADs. This FI is another FI in here, and therefore it has to be up there. How is it not up there? Why is my Sudoku broken? No, because this FI is this FI and then a third FI in here. Yes. And then this FI are these FIs are these FIs. Okay, excuse me. For a second there I was just confusing myself tremendously. Right, what am I going to do to figure out the rest? One thing I can tell you I can do is in row 7, well, I've already used up my greens, 3 of them, 3 of the reds and greens. There's only a 4th one available. So these two absolutely have to be blue and red. I know there's another B and H, but it's not going to be with its partner to add up to 10. There is essentially an EBH on the corner, or BEH. And then this is clearly an AIFD. How do I know which one it is? This would be the counterpart over here. So this is obviously, again, blue-red. So is this cell. This is getting a bit tough. This is not F. We can remove the F here. It's not an option. So this is A or I. Can't be F or D. We know that for certain. Otherwise, if it's D, that would be an X. If it's F, I've repeated a digit. This A or I would have to be another AI, another AI, another DF in here, and we actually have a direction. This has to be D, this has to be F, and therefore this has to be F. It's nice just to clear up this mess a bit. So this D and F and this A and I is telling me I've got 3 of the blues and reds. This is definitely green, red. Don't know which green, red it is, just green, red. Okay, what is this one? Could this be I mean, I'm going to have to use a lot of... Right, so no fives is a... 5 could be in one of these 2 cells, actually, so never mind. I thought this was the 5. That's not true. No fives. Don't know. No fives. Yeah, not enough info. We're going to have to really pencil mark this, and I was trying to avoid it. Definitely trying to avoid it. Right, maybe I'll add another color. Not a fan of this, but let's call these 2 the purple side. I don't know if they're the low ones, the high ones. Obviously, they don't have to be the same. Just if these are the purple ones, these are not the purple ones. And therefore, these are the purple ones. These are not the purple ones. These are the purple ones. May be helpful. Who knows? These are... I mean, if I color this, this would be like color galore. But it's essentially something that looks like this. Okay. Hasn't helped me at all here. Fine. Like, at all. Of course, this was never green. You see, because it's a 10, and I would need either the non-purple BH or the non-purple CG in here. And I can't have 2 of these, and I can't have 2 of these because of Sudoku. So this is blue-red. We actually know which one is the blue. That's the blue. That's the blue because of the V. That's the red. This is AD. This is FI. Does that help me? Not in the slightest. What are these 2 cells? Right, so they're not blue. So clearly it's not D or F on this side, but again, it can't be A and I because there'll be 3 of them. So this is green, red. In fact, all of these are green, reds. This is the non-purple one. Therefore, this is the purple one. This is not the purple one. This is the purple one. And therefore, it's not B or H. It is CG, CG, and therefore CG, CG. That looks like it doesn't break. Not that, like, not loving the fact that I actually have to have yet another color in the mix of all of this, but it really has helped to actually make a bit of progress. So either this is B and H, or it's D and F. Now, technically, it can be F with a D in here. I'm not seeing a problem with that at the moment. Of course, it could also be the non-purple B and H, and then the purple B and H, which seems to work. This is not purple. This is purple. Still not enough information to actually kind of do something. Oh, hang on. 3 cells that are from green and red. This is definitely blue. Blue-red. So this is AI. Of course, this can't be A, so this is I. Therefore, this is A, and this is I. I mean, I'm going to say NurglesGift is definitely making it harder. Therefore, this is D, A, I, not I. EF, which tells me this is I, this is A, this is D and F in some order. I haven't figured out which order it is yet. Yeah. I need another green red digit. Essentially, I've got 2 of them in here, plus this cell. So I need one that isn't a purple one. And it can't be consecutive, because that would force the 5 in here, and of course that would make this 10. So this is the non-purple green-red. This is the purple green-red, which can't be CG. It has to be B and H. Therefore, this is B and H. This is a CG pair. This has to be the purple B and H. Otherwise, again, if it's here, it'll be consecutive, and that would add up to 10. So this is E. This is not E. This is E. This is, of course, another BH, and it's the green-red, the non-purple green-red. Now you can see the purple and non-purple B and H. This has to be D. This has to be F. D is in one of these 2 cells. Good to know. In fact, D is not here, because that's both A and D. D can only be there. Therefore, that can't be A. That's I. That's A. That's A to add up to 10 in here. And we can clean this up a bit. Hang on, wrong way around. Yep, good. And actually still D could still be here, never mind. Then we have B and H. This is the non-purple one. This is the purple one. This is not E. That's F. That's E. And BH's. This is blue. It's not A and I, it's D and F. Therefore, that can't be F. That's an I, that's an A, that's a D. This is my only place for an E now in column 8. A is not here, not here. That's A. A is also here. That's I. D is none of these. Can't be next to the A. That's D. F is none of these. Can't be consecutive. One of these is F. Figure that out later. That D, of course, gave me an F in here, a D in there, an A, an I. Could place a lot of these. This is not C or G. It is the purple BH. And this is the non-purple BH. This is not D. And that's D. This is not F. That is F. E is not here. That is E. I've placed D, F, A, I. These are C and G in some order, and the purple one is up here. Okay, not E, not E, not E. Have I placed all the E's yet? Nearly. That's E. That's E. That's F. That's all the E's. Let's finish the blues if I haven't already. I think I have actually. ADs everywhere, yeah. So all the remaining digits, all the remaining cells are green, reds, combos of some sort, aren't they? I haven't missed any, I haven't, no. Right, the purple B and H is not here or there, so it's there. I'd love to be able to actually figure out which one is low and high, so I stop having these tri-colored cells. That's not very helpful. This is CG. This is BH. And I don't actually have a clue which one is purple. Come back to that. Again, C's and G's. Oh, hang on, I haven't placed an I. Where is I? I is not here. I is definitely there. I is definitely here. That hasn't helped. I mean, this is B or H. It's the purple one. Sudoku says this is CG, just to complete the row. CG, CG. This is I or BH. Not very helpful. And this is I or BH. It would have to be the non-purple one. Sorry, just needing a moment to figure out, So BHIs. Okay, so how am I not figuring out which one is the I in here? What am I missing? Because I'm missing something. Of course, it can't be consecutive. There you go. That's not BH. That is I. That is red. That is BH. It's the non-purple one. That is I. Right, that's not I. These are all as follows. This one is not purple. This one's not purple. Therefore this, hang on, this is not purple. Therefore this is purple. And yes, that all looks correct now. Whoa. Right, we're going to definitely have to figure out what this is all telling us now. It doesn't feel like there's enough information to solve this, but let me just think about it. So we know that the E's are all 5s. We can just fix that now. That's 5, if I can highlight correctly. I didn't mean to do that. No, thank you. 5s. So we know this is not 4 or 6. I kind of need to figure out which one is low and which one is high to make some progress. One thing that I can say is they're not both low, otherwise it would have to be a V. So at a minimum, one of them is high. That's an absolute minimum. Now, one thing that I can try and do, okay, here's a perfect example of that. Perfect example. That cannot be low. If that was B, it's consecutive either with this C or this C, because these two are different. One of them is purple, one of them isn't. So that cannot be B. So this, all the non-purple BHs are in fact H's. You mean that one? Meant that one. And therefore all the purple ones are in fact B's. I've got 9 of them. I think I do. That's B's. Right. Now to try and figure out, there you go. The purple B can't be next to a C, so the purple ones, again, are the lower digits. I got 9, almost. I forgot to color one of them as purple. It's this one anyway. That's C, and therefore all the remaining ones are, well, not all of them, because I missed that C, are G's. That's a C, that's a G, and that is everything. Thank goodness. Right, obviously we still need to kind of color them correctly. Look at me, concerned about the colors, not the fact that we actually still need to solve it. Right, what is now all of this telling me? It's not as helpful as I was hoping. So it's telling me that this is not 6. In fact, I'm going to just, this is not at all what I wanted to do. This is H or 7, 8, 9. Therefore, this is G or 6, 7, 8. Sorry, I'm going to reread the rule. Digits in a cage cannot be orthogonally adjacent with a consecutive digit. So like I'm kind of assuming they can't be orthogonally adjacent to themselves either, even though they're both inside the cage. It's not just look at digits around the cage. So obviously if one of them is 8, the other one would be 7, because the two cells have to add up to 15. They just have to be the non-consecutive ones. So I'm going to make the assumption that is telling me that 6 and 9. What was it again? That was H, wasn't it? Yes. So that means G's are 6s, H's are 9s, B's are 1s, C's are 4s. The F now can't be 7, it would have to be the 8. Messed up the colors there. And there. The 8s are partnering with the D's, aren't they? Yep, they are. So that's 2s. And therefore the A's are 3s. And therefore the I's are 7s. And that is all correct. Much harder puzzle. I think the fact that green was never on a V meant that figuring out which one is the low digit was a lot more involved from the greens this time. But I think kind of this approach still works. I just, again, needed extra colors, and I was kind of lucky that I picked these two as purple. I imagine it would have worked regardless, it's just it would have been more complex. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.